Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to present to you P.J. Jenkinson.
Before I start, I just want to say I am so glad to be home in Detroit. So, I've always been a tomboy. I like to fix things. I've worked on my own cars. I fix stuff around the house. I'm mechanically inclined. In 1974, I am working for a vending machine company. I'm working out of a little cubicle in a break room at Michigan Bell Telephone, downtown Detroit. Yay, Michigan Bell! And what I do is I clean up the room when people leave all their candy wrappers and their pop cans sitting behind, and I fill the vending machines when they bring me the stock, and I, return people's money when the machines jam. And one day it occurs to me is instead of putting an out of order sign on the machine myself, why don't I try and fix it? So I pull a coin mechanism out of a vending machine, I start messing with it, and I fix it because I'm mechanically inclined. So I'm really proud of myself. I put it back. I hardly ever have to call the repair guys to come out, So one day I'm sitting in the break room and I'm working on one of these little coin mechanisms, and a Michigan Bell supervisor walks by and he says, you could be making a lot more money doing that for us. Yeah, ding! And it really surprised me because I hadn't really thought about it. And it's like, gee, I wonder what the repair guys at the vending machine company have been making. Because I ain't making that much money sitting here in this little break room. So I look at the supervisor and I say, okay. And that is how I became a pole climber. Climbing poles is hard. Pole climbing school is hard. I am one of 3 women at the time in pole climbing school. There were only about 4 women in the whole state of Michigan who were even attempting to do this work back in the 70s. It is very clear to us, 3 women, that the instructor does not like women in his class. He tells us you don't have the upper body strength to do this job, you'll never be able to carry this 24-foot extension ladder on your shoulder, much less put it up against a pole or on the middle of a line. You don't have the brains to do the wiring. He makes this very clear to us, and we dare not go to management because that would make us look weak. That would make us look like we need help to do our job. So we tough it out. When you're in pole climbing school, you don't use those little handhold, foothold, L-shaped things that stick out of the poles. You climb using gaffs. Gaffs are very sharp metal, stabby little points that stick out of a welded piece that goes around your lower leg that you strap on. And the way you get up that pole is you stab your instep into the pole and lift your whole body up on that. And then you stab your other instep into the pole and you lift so you're stepping up the pole and your whole body weight is on about that much metal that is sticking into about that much wood. And it's terrifying at first, even for the guys, okay? It's terrifying because you have to find your balance and you have to learn how to hold on just right. There's no safety net. There's nobody to catch you. If you gaff out, you're down. So we learned to climb using gaffs. Now, what we didn't know, these 2 other women and I, was that the instructor kept giving us the slightly tilted or crooked poles to climb. Now, after you learn to do it, climbing a straight pole is relatively easy. Climbing an even slightly tilted or crooked pole, gravity is working against you. You can't get your balance. You can't find where to put your weight. You're constantly adjusting what you're doing. And we didn't know, because we're just trying to get through pole climbing school. We're just doing our job. We're not noticing there's angles to some of these, and some of them are straight. We don't realize what's going on until the instructor is out taking a smoke break, and we're just standing around practicing. And we happen to get on some straight poles, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know, this really isn't so hard once you get the hang of it. I wonder why all of a sudden it's so... Son of a bitch. But I'm grateful, you know. He put us through the ringer. We all made it out of pole climbing school. One of these women went on to become a Detroit firefighter. Yeah, props to the ladies. So, graduate from pole climbing school, and that's when we find out that almost every single pole in Detroit is stepped. It's got those little handholds on it, you know, so I never used my gaffs again. But I kept them in my truck to remind me that I can do really anything and get through really anything if I put my mind to it. So they stayed there in my truck. So I get a route. The area that I work in is the New Center area, Cass Corridor, and Hamtramck. No, it was fine. It was fine. Don't worry about me. People were usually so shocked to see the little blonde girl at the door. You know, by the time I fixed the phone and was out of there, they were like, that was a little bitty white woman. She fixed my phone. Oh my God. So anyway, I'm in Hamtramck one day, and I'm on Conant, and I pull up to this house, got a little message, got to fix this phone, no dial tone. It's blazingly hot. It is miserably hot outside. There's no air, there's no breeze, there's no breathing this air, right? So I'm walking up to the porch and I'm thinking, boy, I hope they have air conditioning. I hope the problem's inside. And I knock on the door, and this little bitty man answers the door. And I go, hi, I'm from the phone company, here to fix your phone. And he just kind of looks up at me, and I think, well, it's Hamtramck, maybe he doesn't speak English. Hello, I'm here to fix your phone. Your phone's not working, can I come in? And he lets me in. But as he opens the door and I walk by, he's looking out behind me outside. And I know what he's looking for. He's looking for the repair man. Yeah, because I can't possibly be out here by myself. So he shuts the door. I say, what I'd like to do is check the wiring in the basement first to see if the problem is inside or outside. And he's like pointing at the basement door, still looking at me like he's really constipated or something. So we start going down to the basement, and he follows me. This doesn't worry me. Customers follow us around the house all the time. But as we're starting down the stairs, he starts in on me. Why are you out here? Why didn't they send a man? You don't know what you're doing, do you? You know, why are you women out here taking jobs away from women? Wait, you should be home. Aren't you married? I'm like, yes, sir, I'm married. You know, tracing the wiring in the basement. Oh, there it is. So as I'm disconnecting the inside wiring from the outside wiring, he's still talking behind me. I don't know what's wrong with you women today. You know, you can't be satisfied to be at home taking care of your children. Do you have children? I'm like, no, sir, no children. So I finally ascertained that the problem is indeed outside, so I hook everything back up, and I turn around to him and I say, the problem is outside. I'm going to get in the van and drive around to the alley, and I'm going to fix it from there, and I'll call you when it's fixed. You probably can't fix it. Yeah, they should have sent a real repairman out here. You know what I should do? I should go next door and use their phone and call for a real repairman. I'm like, ugh, I can't say anything to him because I represent Michigan Bell. Ma Bell, not Pa Bell. Ma Bell. I'm like, it's okay, sir, I'll handle it. If I can't fix it, I'll come back and tell you. So I go out of the house into this heat, and the seat in the van is frying my butt, and the steering wheel is frying my fingers, and this little old man is frying my last nerve. But I drive around to the alley, and I'm putting on my tool belt, and I'm putting on my climbing belt, and I look, and sure enough, he is coming out his back door, heading across his dry, dusty little yard, and he's heading straight for me. So I'm like, oh, I'm putting every tool I've got, even stuff I know I won't need, into my belt so I don't have to come back down while he's out here. Get up the pole really fast, so I'm really glad I didn't have to put on my gas this time. Okay, so I belt in, and I call the cable desk. Now, usually, when you call for a cable change, a pair change, this is the wiring that hooks your central office to your line, to your house. I call for a cable pair change. There's usually technicians ahead of you. We're all waiting for a cable pair. And I'm like, oh God, he's still down there talking. You shouldn't be up there. You should be at home. This is terrible. I'm gonna go. And he's kicking my van, and he's kicking the pole, and he's starting to turn a really alarming shade of red. And I'm looking down at him, and I'm like, Cable, I have an elderly customer here, and I'm a little concerned about their health. Could you maybe give me like a bump up in the line? Can I just go first, please? I'm worried about this guy. And they go ahead and bump me up. They get me a cable pair. I test it, they test it, I hook it up to the lines, they see phones. Thank God. Okay, close up the box, go down the pole, and he's right there waiting for me. You couldn't fix it, could ya? Yeah, I knew you wouldn't be able to fix it. Yeah, you should be home taking care of your children. I don't know what it is about you women, but you're ruining the economy. What? I'm ruining the economy? I pay taxes, I buy stuff, and I've had it. You know, I have had it with the heat. I have had it with the mosquitoes. I've had it with the bees. I've had it with the sweat. I have had it with every idiot that ever looked at me sideways just because I know how to use a screwdriver. And I have especially had it with this tiny little tyrant. So I look at him and I say, okay, sir, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home and get my husband, and I'm going to bring him out here, and I'm going to let him fix your phone. Now, he's a Vietnam vet, and he doesn't have any arms and legs. They were blown off in Nam, but I will go home right now, and I will get him. I will put him in the van. I'll bring him back here. I'll put a screwdriver in his mouth. I will hoist him up the pole with my own body. I will let him fix your phone. I'll bring him back down. Will that make you happy? And he starts crying. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, of course that's why you're out here. Why else would a really pretty little girl be out here fixing phones? I'm really sorry. Excuse me. And he starts digging out his wallet. He's trying to give me money. He's like, here, you must need this. I'm so sorry. Thank you for your husband for taking care of our country. I can write you a check. And I'm like, no, sir, I'm sorry. No, we can't take your money. I don't need your money. It's fine. But look, listen, the next time you see a woman out doing a job that you don't think she's supposed to be doing, maybe think about that, okay? Maybe think, she's really got to support her family. She's got people to take care of. People are depending on her. I shouldn't be in her way, right? Thank you, sir. Your phone is fixed. I get in my van and I do the rest of my route. At the end of the day, I get back to the garage and I'm walking through the ballroom and one of the guys is sitting at the table and he says, Ollie wants to see you. And I'm like, okay. Now, Ollie is our supervisor. He's very big. He's very smart. He's very wise. He's very quiet and watchful. For those of you who remember Rosie Greer, Ollie looked like Rosie Greer's bigger, meaner brother. But he was a really good boss. So I walk into his office. Hi, Ollie. Sit down. Okay. So I sit down and I notice there's a really nice vase of flowers on his desk. Ollie's not a flower guy, but I'm thinking maybe it's his birthday, maybe it's his anniversary, I don't know. So he finally looks up at me and he says, you had a route in Hamtown today? Yes, sir. What did you say to the customer on Conant? So I tell him the story, thinking he'll get it, he'll understand all this frustration and stuff, and I'm like going through the story and I'm telling him, he is not laughing. He says, well, the customer called repair, and repair called dispatch. Dispatch called me, and I called the customer. PJ, I know your husband, and I know he's got his arms and his legs. This guy wants to set up a trust fund for your children. He sent you these flowers. And I start to get up like, ooh, flowers. He's like, no, no, no. Sit down. Says, what have you got to say for yourself? I'm like, come on, Ollie, you know how it is. I mean, all of us, these women out here doing this job, we get hassled every day. We get sexist remarks every day. We get people, leaving filthy messages on our windshield. I mean, even my own crew picks on me. The black techs that are on the crew, they're always talking about these little white women who won't even let them in the house to fix their phone. They would rather be without phone service than, let a black man in the house. Oh my God, I'm all alone. So I'm thinking he's really gonna connect with me on this. We're gonna connect on it because, Wally, it's, okay. I'm really sorry. And he says, I should make you go back to his house and apologize to him. So I figure, okay, I really got to reason with him now. Please don't make me go back there. Please don't. Ollie, I swear I'll never do anything like that again. Please, please, for God's sakes, do not make me go back there. I am really, really sorry that I did it. I'm really sorry that I made up an imaginary invalid husband to, justify my anger, but please don't make me go back there. Please, I'm so sorry. And he doesn't make me go back. He handles it. He calls the customer. I have no idea what he said to him, but he didn't make me go back there. He also took the flowers. But that's okay. I stayed outside climbing poles, fixing phones for about a year, and then an old back injury forced me to work inside. But I am really proud that I got to do this job. I loved it. And I'm really proud that I put up with the bigotry and the stupidity and the heat and the blistering cold and everything else that went with it. And I am really glad that I got to climb the crooked poles.
Jenkinson.